Between 1937 and 1945, a military conflict was waged between the Republic of China and the Empire of Japan, leading to what would be known as the Second Sino-Japanese War. The war began when a dispute between the Japanese and the Chinese troops in Peking escalated into a full-scale invasion. China fought Japan with aid from the Soviet Union, Britain, and the USA. The Second Sino-Japanese War was the largest Asian war in the 20th century. It accounted for the majority of civilian and military casualties in the Pacific War, with between 10 and 25 million Chinese civilians and over 4 million Chinese and Japanese military personnel missing or dying from war-related violence, famine, and other causes. During the war, the Empire of Japan committed horrific atrocities against the civilian population. While the international press was reporting on the brutality of Japanese troops, newspapers in Japan were looking for stories of wartime heroism. One of the stories that quickly settled on was on that of two officers in an unusual contest. In 1937, the Osaka Mainichi Shimbun and its sister newspaper, the Tokyo Nichi Shimbun, covered a contest between two Japanese officers, Mukai Toshiaki and Noda Tsuyoshi. As the article explained, two officers had settled on a private competition to see which of them could be the first to kill 100 people with their katana sword. The competition supposedly took place on route to Nanking, prior to the infamous Nanking massacre, and was covered in 4 articles from 30th November 1937 to 13th December 1937. By the time the paper first reported the story, the competition was already fierce. Reporters caught up with the lieutenants just as the army left Danyang. The newspaper was following the results of the contest as though it was a sporting event. It's 89-78 in the contest to cut down 100. A close race. How heroic, the headline read. While neither Mukai nor Noda had realized the goal of reaching 100 by the time they reached Danyang, they would have plenty of opportunities to kill in Nanking. The Japanese army reached Nanking, the capital city of the Republic of China, on December 13, 1937. What followed was a month of violence as Japanese troops began to massacre the civilian population in the city. Looting, murder, and gang rape were all widespread. It's estimated that around 300,000 people died during Nanking, as the incident came to be known. In the frenzy of killings in Nanking, neither was sure who had passed the 100 mark first. Both officers supposedly surpassed their goal during the heat of the battle, making it difficult to determine which of the officers had actually won the contest. Therefore, according to the journalists Asami Kazuo and Suzuki Chiro, writing in the Tokyo Nichi Shimbun on 13th December, they decided to begin another contest with the goal to kill 150. The Nichi headline of the story of 13th December read, "Incredible record in the contest to kill 100 people, Mukai 106, Noda 105. Other papers in Japan presented the two men as cutting down enemies with armed guns. The truth was far less heroic. Mukai and Noda were largely killing defenseless prisoners. Neither man seemed to think much of killing so many people, although Mukai was apparently a bit upset about some damage to his sword, which was marked because he sliced someone down in the middle, together with his helmet. It's worth noting that there is some doubt about whether the account of the contest is even accurate. Many have argued that the numbers involved were probably inflated. Some have claimed that it never happened at all. Noda himself claimed that there was a contest, but it wasn't as big a deal as the newspapers made it out to be. After the war, a written record of the contest found its way into the documents of the International Military Tribunal. Soon after, the two soldiers were arrested by the US Army and detained at the Sugamo prison. They were then extradited to China and tried by the Nanjing War Crimes Tribunal. They were convicted of atrocities committed during the Battle of Nanking and sentenced to death. On 20th January 1948, both soldiers were executed by shooting at a selected spot in the mountains of Yuatai district. In Japan, the contest was lost to obscurity of history until 1967. When Tomio Hoare, a professor of history at the Waseda University, published a document pertaining to the events of Nanking. The story was unreported by the Japanese press until 1971, when a Japanese journalist, Kazuichi Honda, brought the issue to the attention of the public with a series of articles written for Asahi Shimbun, which focused on the interviews with Chinese survivors of the World War II occupation and massacre. In Japan, the articles sparked fierce debate about the Nanking massacre, with the veracity of the killing contest being questioned. Many authors have argued over whether the massacre even occurred. They believed the contest was a fabrication. The Sankei Shimbun and Japanese politician Tomomi Inada have publicly demanded that the Asahi and Mainichi media companies retract their wartime reporting on the contest. In April 2003, the families of Mkai Toshiaki and Oda Tsuyoshi filed a defamation suit against Kazuichi Honda, Kashiwa Shoba, the Asahi Shimbun, and Mainichi Shimbun, requesting 36 million yen in compensation. On 23 August 2005, a Tokyo district judge dismissed the suit on the grounds that the contest did occur and was not fabricated by the media. The judge stated that, although the original newspaper articles included false elements, the officers admitted that they had raced to kill 100 people, and it's difficult to say that this was fiction. Some evidence of killing Chinese prisoners of war was shown by the defendants, and the court admitted the possibilities of killings of prisoners of war by sword. In December 2006, the Supreme Court of Japan upheld the decision by the Tokyo District Court. One of the swords allegedly used in the contest is on display at the Republic of China Armed Forces Museum in Taipei, Taiwan. The contest is depicted in the 1994 film Black Sun, The Nanking Massacre, as well as the 2009 film John Rabe.